This is the Italian Real Estate Podcast. It's here to help you with the ins and outs and basics of Italian real estate, presented by ItalianRealEstateLawyers.com. Hello and welcome to the Italian Real Estate Podcast. I am Rafael Di Furia, here with Italian attorney Marco Permunian from ItalianRealEstateLawyers.com. And today we wanted to talk about a subject that has become quite popular over the past few years, especially with certain stories coming up in the news about these projects. What are these projects? The €1 houses projects. I'm sure if you've looked into living in Italy or Italian real estate, that at some point or another that this subject has come up. So Marco has taken the time today to come and speak with us a little bit about the €1 projects and for us to talk a little bit about maybe in comparison to a normal property purchase, what things can be like. So Marco, what would be the first thing that when somebody contacts you for looking into these €1 houses that you would start to assist them with?
A lot of people ask me if it is a legitimate thing, so if it's real. And of course the answer is yes. Like this is a real thing, so you can actually buy a house for €1. And the reason behind the sale of a house for €1 is that there are certain places in Italy, especially small towns in southern Italy, that need repopulation. So people are living those towns, or people have been living those towns in the past years. They have moved outside of the city center, which was like maybe the older part of the city. So in these buildings that are in the city center, they were not being taken care of. So a lot of them are not falling apart, but like need renovation works. So the combination of these two things, like renovating old properties in a specific town and repopulating the town, has led the comune, so the municipality, to want to make these properties available to be purchased by people from Italy and by people from around the world. But to answer your question, the first thing that we do is make sure that our clients understand that there are certain requirements. So even if it is true that you can buy a house for €1, it is not a regular transaction. So it is a transaction where the municipality is involved. So there are certain requirements that need to be met, and there are activities that you need to carry out after the purchase.
And what kind of activities are you talking about in this case?
Primarily, the municipality will require that you do renovation works. In some cases you have 1 year, in some other cases you have 3 years. The requirements vary depending on the municipality, but it seems like it is common for all of the municipalities that make these €1 properties available, that the new owner has to carry out some renovation works, and you have to submit a renovation project before you buy the house that needs to be approved by the municipality. Of course, if the goal is that you are renovating this property, the renovation works need to be adequate.
I see. And how is it determined, like what are the steps that the comune might take to decide what is the appropriate project?
So what the public administration would do is a call for proposals. So basically it's a public procedure through which the municipality collects offers or proposals from people. So people have to submit their renovation projects, and the one that is more convenient and adequate for the municipality is the one that gets chosen.
So in this public call for proposals, Does this mean that you potentially will be competing against other people for the same property?
Yes, and it can actually be a complex procedure, and actually in some cases a long procedure, because whenever the public administration is involved, whenever the public administration has to choose between bidders or people who submit projects or proposals, it takes a long time normally to decide who is the person who actually gets the property. So in this respect, this could be one of the reasons why getting a €1 house that involves renovation works may be a longer process and more complex process than just buy a regular house that requires renovation works. So the municipality will require a security deposit. It is normally €5,000, which functions as guarantee that you will carry out the renovation works within the time set by the public administration. So that can be a complication in comparison like to a regular purchase of a house. Of course, there are like many similarities to like a traditional sale of a property. So you still have to go to the public notary to sign a deed. You still have to pay taxes on this property that you're buying. And if there is a broker, if there is a real estate agent involved, you have to pay the real estate agent fees. So there are similarities to a regular purchase, but it is definitely a more complex process.
That's interesting to hear, especially when you're thinking about that it may be more convenient in a price perspective, at least at the beginning. Of course, it depends. Of course, when you're buying a property that's a little bit older and you have to renovate it, you could end up sinking a lot more money than you plan into it. But then with a home that's already finished, it sounds like from what you're saying, not only is it more convenient from that perspective, but if you just kind of adding my own kind of thoughts to what you're saying, continuing what I was saying before, that from that perspective of also having a home that you can move into, in the end, you may end up paying a price that would be not so far off.
Yeah, and I just want to make it clear for our audience that some towns have made it clear that their goal is not to give houses to people who are in need. So their goal is to make the town look better. So these renovation works that you have to carry out need to be very specific, and they need to be good renovation works. So it's and because you have also a time limit, it makes it necessary that you complete the renovation works within that time limit. Otherwise, there will be consequences. So that's why I'm saying there are requirements that may make this process actually more complex and less convenient than just a regular purchase of a low-cost house that requires renovation works. At least in that case, you can take all the time you need to do the renovation work, and you are the one who decides what the renovation works are going to be.
No, because I know in some parts of, especially the South, but even in the North, even here in the Veneto region, where we currently are, you can buy some properties at what many people would consider ridiculously low prices. I know of people who've even purchased homes in the 20s and 30,000 euro range that were move-in ready. Of course, they're planning to do some work on them, but they don't have that time limit, which in Italy, I would say potentially could add some extra complication, especially considering the current situation, the current global situation, even though things here in Italy are pretty much back to normal. At least at the time of recording this video, that because of how things work in Italy and with delays that can come up, personally, I would be concerned about the timeline and that there is a final end date that things do have to be finished by. But going back to what you were saying before about some municipalities saying something along the lines of, very much paraphrasing here, that it's not a charity project, that they're looking for people to actually renovate these homes so that the city can get, or the village can get a facelift. Is there also a concern about residency? Because I know in a lot of these towns that one of the reasons why they're doing it is because so many people have left and moved away to the larger cities or even to other countries. Are there municipalities that actually require you to stay in these homes once you've purchased them?
Yes, there are some municipalities, not all of them, but as far as I know, some of them will also require that you not only do renovation works, but that you also establish your residency in the municipality, so in the house that you're buying. And residency, as we said in many of our videos, in Italy is a very specific concept, which means that you have to be registered with the population of the people who reside in the municipality. As we said, the goal is not only make these towns look better, but also repopulate these towns. And that's why some of these towns will require that the person who buys the property also actually goes to live in that town, which is another thing to take into consideration when you are buying a €1 house.
But there's one big question that I know a lot of people have. Do the €1 houses, do they actually cost €1?
Yes, in some cases, no, in other cases. So we said at the beginning of the video that the requirements are very different in the towns that make these €1 properties available. So I know some towns, properties are being sold for €1, but in some other cases, the price of the property is actually not €1. €1 is the starting price. And then there is something similar to a silent auction where there are bidders and the person who offers the highest price is actually the person who gets the property. I was looking at the results of one of these auctions, and you could actually see the price that was eventually paid by each person who got the property, and it's still a very low price as far as I could see, but it wasn't €1.
That's interesting. So it's not only that you're making a silent offer on a silent auction, but at the end of this, your information is being publicly posted, it sounds like.
Yes, at least I sell names and last names.
Really? That to me I would personally find that concerning. We kind of already touched on this a little bit so far, but where do these properties actually come from? Why are these municipalities trying to get rid of these properties, so to speak?
Most of these properties are owned by the actual local government, so by the municipality itself. So the municipality owns these properties, and these properties are properties that were abandoned, so that they were not owned by anybody, and by law that makes it possible for the municipality to claim ownership of these properties. So this is one situation, but some towns are also allowing people who own these properties to get rid of them. And the reason behind that is that if you own a property in Italy, if it's your first house, you normally don't pay any annual taxes. But if it's your second home, you have to pay taxes. So these properties that are in some cases falling apart are properties for which you have to pay annual taxes. And of course, in some cases, it can be a problem for people who are the owners of these properties, can't get rid of them because nobody wants them. So these people want to get rid of these properties, and because these properties are normally located in the city center, like the old part of the town, and the owners are no longer living there. Maybe they got the house from their parents or grandparents, but they never actually used it because the house was not habitable. So these people are actually living somewhere else in another town or in the new part of the town. So the municipality started this project also to allow these people to get rid of these properties in a legal way and an easy way. So the combination of these people wanting to get rid of these properties and people from foreign countries wanting to go live in Italy because they love the country, and people who are in a position that allows them to do renovation works. The combination of these two factors made this project doable.
So that's interesting to me, that based on a large set of factors, that this situation has come up to create a climate where people have these places that they just don't want to hold on to, but would otherwise have a very difficult time of getting rid of. But I think we have covered a lot of ground in this, and maybe we will touch on this subject again about going through this process for those people who are looking for that adventure, and for those people who are looking for a renovation project that would be along these lines. So, of course, if you are interested in the subject of the €1 houses, feel free to leave any questions that you might have below in the comments section, and we may be able to answer that in a future video. Or if you're seeking assistance to find a home that could potentially be in a comparable price range, Marco and his team at ItalianRealEstateLawyers.com are available to help you through that process as well. Thank you again so much, Marco, for making yourself available to talk about this project and to help people find their home here in Italy. Of course, we've been here with Marco Permunian, and I am Rafael Di Furia, and we will see you all next time. Later.
Thank you.